John O'Hara is back in action.
Good morning.
You just sleep
I missed you
here?
guys.
You just have a cot back there, hang out, and come back?
Yeah, I'm sleeping down on the, down by the memorial. Just hanging out.
Hanging out.
You guys can't get rid of me.
That's what's up, man. Good to have you
How
back,
we doing?
buddy.
Good to see you.
Looking good, man.
Thanks, man. I got to get that in my repertoire.
Oh, boy.
Got enough up top?
I don't know. It'll be a smaller dollar sign.
At JMFB with your thoughts, we've got Justin Fields talk to kick off the show. Let's go, lead luck.
Lead block.
Let's go. So Fields had his second collegiate pro day yesterday, putting on a show. Once again, it was close to the media, but the Patriots, the Lions, the Falcons were a couple of the teams that were in attendance. Of course, we knew the Niners would be there. A lot of talk about John Lynch. And Kyle Shanahan missing the first one to be at Mac Jones' pro day. They were, in fact, in the building to check out Justin Fields.
Ooh, there it is.
Shanahan getting some one-on-one time with him yesterday. Thanks to Ohio State for giving us an inside look.
Ohio State's like, check this out.
Yeah.
The future, yeah, that's not a bad PR move by them. Okay, we've seen a lot of tape on these quarterbacks from college to now pro days and a second pro day now for Fields, putting aside Trevor Lawrence, the toaster guy, with whom everybody thinks is like the cleanest prospect since Andrew Luck. He's the guy going number 1 to Jacksonville, likely. Which of the other top QBs, guys, in this draft has the least amount of questions circling your mind, Sean?
Well, it's got to be that guy, Justin Fields, that we just showed. There's a little bromance that's brewing there with Kyle Shanahan. Look, if you're looking at these quarterbacks, you've got one of these high picks. Here's what you can't be. You can't be a boy band with a one-hit wonder. And when you look at Justin Fields, he's not a one-hit wonder. He's got 2 times he was the Big Ten Player of the Year. He's got the track record. It's not just one season lightning in a bottle. And when you're sitting there, playing your all-for-one, saying, I swear, wow, you want to make sure that you're not going to have to go back on that. Night? There you go. You want to make sure you're all in on this kid. I think Justin Fields is the guy that, look, when the lights go on, not when the lights go out by 5. When the lights go on, that's when he plays his best. Yep. So this is not a one-hit wonder, Kay. I know you're sitting over there saying, look, you don't want to be playing shy if I ever fall in love again. I swear it's going to be a quarterback.
What is happening?
You got to get a guy like that has the production he's had against the biggest opponents college football has had. And look, on the biggest stage, he threw 6 touchdowns at the national title game, despite taking a spear to the ribs. Semifinal game.
The national title game didn't go as well.
Right. So Justin Fields, I think he's checked all the boxes.
Checked all the boxes.
Yet there are some questions about him. It's interesting. Others might have. You have none. Trace, what do you think?
The Fields question is he goes up against Indiana and throws 3 picks. The question is he goes against Northwestern, doesn't get it done. The question with Fields is that he was at Georgia and he was the hottest freshman in football, and Jake Fromm, who barely made the NFL last year in the draft, beat him out head-to-head for a job, and it wasn't even a question. So every one of these prospects has question marks. It's actually a disgusting exercise we do. We pick and prod on all these prospects for 3 weeks.
Right before they get drafted,
Right before it's the greatest moment. It's just what it is. And, if you don't like it, it's just part of the process because the teams, they're doing it too. I've never been a part of an NFL draft class where we have torn apart these guys as much, and it's almost valid in some cases. Like,
no doubt.
Zach Wilson, he played nobody this year. I really played nobody. They didn't have any Power 5 competition, so that's his knock. Also, durability with him. He was injured. I said with Fields, he lost to Fromm head-to-head in Georgia. What happened there? I'd want to know why he wasn't able to outplay a guy who barely is playing in the NFL right now. And then you go down the list of all these other players. Trey Lance, great prospect, but we haven't seen enough. Mac Jones, good prospect. Have we seen enough? And, of course, Trevor Lawrence feels like he's the golden boy. But to me, I know what I'm getting with Mac Jones, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I know exactly what I'm getting when Mac Jones walks in the door. I know this quarterback. He's efficient. He's not going to throw many picks. He's going to get the job done. When the play breaks down, he's going to throw the ball away. He's
Sounds real exciting, Trey.
It's not exciting, and I don't know if that's what Kyle Shanahan's kind of looking for. Remember, Kyle Shanahan chose, quite obviously, Kirk Cousins over Robert Griffin III. And Kirk Cousins is a very different quarterback than Robert Griffin III. Kyle Shanahan is a kind of guy that would go with Nick Mullins and win a game and be as proud of that as having, an all-world quarterback get the job done. I almost feel like with Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, it's, hey, X's and O's versus Jimmy's and Joe's. And in his case, give me the X's and O's. I'll just run the offense, just have someone who can efficiently run it. I know what Mac Jones is. I don't know if that's a great thing. I don't know if he's ever going to be an all-pro quarterback. But at the very least, there are not as many question marks. Last year, 4,500 yards in the one season he played. He was absolutely awesome, was the best quarterback in the SEC. So I'm not doing flips for Mac Jones. I'm not. I just know he's got the least question marks surrounding his name. And I don't know if that's a good thing.
Is it the highest
4.8,
floor of all these
right?
quarterbacks?
What's that?
Highest floor of all these quarterbacks? Like safest kind of?
Safest.
Like,
Safest is
outside of
right.
Trevor.
Yeah, outside of Trevor. I think safest in that the bust factor
Yeah.
is not hanging over his head because
That's attractive.
you know what he is. It's attractive, but it doesn't get you out of the bed in the morning being like, yeah.
Does
it's
not.
just, okay.
What'd you say, Sean?
He ran a 4.8. So it's
good
not a
speed.
statue, you know.
4.8?
Yeah.
These other guys are running 4.4 and 4.3.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
still
I'm saying
4.8
he's
is
not
pretty
running a
decent.
5.3, 5.4. He's not Tom Brady,
Yeah,
lumbering through the 40.
And there's nothing wrong with Steady Eddie. You find a quarterback, and maybe that's Mac Jones. He doesn't need to be the spiciest of all of these potential draft picks. But I do like Justin Fields, and not for the simple fact that he's athletic and that he ran a fast time and he looks good with his shirt off. I just know for so long it was Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. It was 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B. And in certain cases, certain times, Justin Fields was the 1A. And then all of a sudden, we just started to pull and prod and pick and criticize and overanalyze every single thing about this young man. But I tell you what, man, he got the goods. He busts his butt. He works hard. He's talented. He can do it all. And just check out these numbers. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because these guys underneath him, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, they all had hype going into the draft. And we didn't really pick at these guys like we're picking at Justin Fields. Look at the numbers. The touchdowns are basically the same. The rush TDs are almost equal. Mariota really got busy when he was at Oregon. And you're saying, well, okay, Nate, I see Kyler Murray went first. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes 10th and Mariota went second overall. What about the interceptions? Actually, out of all these guys, Justin Fields threw less interceptions. Yeah. So if we're talking about his full last season, that was 2019 for everybody at home. Last year he played like half a season. Comparatively to all of those guys, he's right there. Touchdowns, athletic ability, rushing the ball, but also, more importantly, 3 interceptions in that 2019 season, which means he can take care of the ball. So this narrative that, he's athletic and he might not be able to throw you into a victory, I think that's false. He's not going to throw you out of a victory. He's not going to lose a game for you. The advantage you have with drafting Justin Fields is that you have that X factor. And when you look at Kyler Murray, when you look at Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, guys that are so dynamic, and Josh Allen, so good in the pocket, this is what all coaches want nowadays. The game has changed at the quarterback position. The last remaining statue in the pocket is a dude who just won a Super Bowl. And that's only going to last for a couple more years. Maybe 4 or 5 because it's Tom Brady.
Are okay.
No, they're okay and they're fine. Llisten, the league is built off of statuesque
Matt Ryan's
quarterbacks.
an all right quarterback. He's had a good career, right? Like, there's a lot of guys who are considered statues that still get the job done. And I think that's where these teams are kind of balancing here. Because Lance, Wilson, and Fields are all super athletic and have these crazy arms. And then Mac is like, all right, I know that guy. Like, I've seen that guy in the NFL for 20 years. It's almost scarier to take the guy
But you don't trade up to 3 to get the Volvo. You trade up to 3 to get the exciting guy with the high ceiling that can do all of those things, especially in this day and age. That's why I cannot understand all of the connections with Mac Jones. I ask all of you, no one mentioned Zach Wilson. Why do we don't have questions about him? The only question that remains, I guess, is Power 5 schools, didn't play a single one last year, didn't face crazy competition, had a ton of time to throw, blah, 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 blah. Are there questions about Zach Wilson? Why is he the number 2 guy? No problem.
There are questions.
Okay, tell me.
To me, durability is a huge question with this guy. He had a shoulder injury in high school. He had shoulder surgery in 2019, and he had a hand injury where he missed games as well. So he's missed time. He's 210 pounds. He's not a huge guy. That's the question. But
why is he surefire number 2
he's
then?
blown everyone away.
Okay.
And that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but like, I get the feeling now that it's almost a slam dunk that it's Lawrence and Wilson 1-2. Now, I know that might not happen, but right now that's the assumption around the league. You talk to teams, it's like, oh, Wilson 2 to the Jets. I'm like, really? Like, Wilson 2 to the Jets. But, okay, those are real questions. Real questions. I mean, he hasn't done it against really anybody.
But he dominated against who he had in front of him, right?
Yeah, but they all did. None of these players played against real competition except for the playoffs, I feel like, the last couple of years because of the COVID situation. But there's questions on Zach Wilson, legitimate ones.
Do you like Fields over Wilson?
It's tough.
You talk a lot about Fields.
It's tough. Listen, I feel like we know who the first couple of quarterbacks are going to be. It's Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. But let's be very clear. Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jags. It's going to be tough. And then you got Zach Wilson going to the Jets. This is going to be tough. So as far as expectations, it might be a slam dunk as far as what we know the draft is going to be. It's not going to be a slam dunk when it comes to their success as rookies. these guys are all going to struggle. So I can't sit here and say one rookie is going to have a better season because it really depends on where they land.
San Francisco at 3 sounds like a great place to go if I'm a
Very good
rookie
landing
quarterback.
spot.
If I had a place to pick, it's right there.
The one dynamic that we're not talking about with these quarterbacks is forget about the throws, the physical attributes, all of that. Really, the determining factor with who the Jets are going to take and who the 49ers are going to take is their meetings. And when they sit there and they say, here's the game plan, right? You study that. Next week, we're going to call you, we're going to Skype you, Zoom you, and you're going to have to go through, give us the plays. We're